friends. Welcome to another episode of the Logline Lab. Here we are. You will see me scribble. I want to get right into it because I'm already in the flow. Second recording of the day. I'm high. I'm high on momentum. You'll see me scribble and look down and pause and think a lot. So I just already have this idea waiting in my head. So here we go. So it's going to be, let's say it's a drama comedy at the moment. A dramedy, if you will. So the idea is this. I love escape rooms. And I do enjoy like whodunits type of thing. And so I wanted to put those two together. And I think I've heard this idea a lot lately, and there really is something delicious about it to explore, and so I wanted to do it as well. There's a death of a person, so let's do LGBT dramedy, like a LGBT comedy drama. Yeah, LGBT comedy drama, which is a dramedy. I don't know why my brain wants to do that, but let's go LGBT drama comedy. And so it's a drag queen. She is let's call her Ava, AVA, and so she dies, right? And in her will, it says to summon 5 or 6 people. I don't know. 5 or 6 people. So her ex-lovers, her assistants, her people close to her. Well, close to her. Some ex-lovers, some assistants, and I don't know. I'll figure it out later. But let's say it's 5 people, right? Let's say 5 people. So in her will, it says to summon these specific 5 people and to bring them to her estate and to figure out who gets to inherit her entire empire, right? Super easy, like, plot. Nothing so far exciting that you haven't seen before, but for me the exciting part to play with is it's not like a murder, like, gore horror thing. What was the latest one? Ready or Not 2, I think, is the latest one. It's similar but not quite. So these 5 people get to her estate, plus the person taking care of the will, I suppose, to witness everything. And it's not like you must kill and the last person alive gets to. I didn't want to do that because I'm not into that as much, but I do love escape room ideas. So what happens is when these 5 people come to her estate to figure out who deserves the empire that she's built, her fortunes and stuff, the house closes down, the windows, the doors, everything, they're locked into the place, hence the escape room idea. And really what it is the person in charge of the will kind of know most of the rules and what to do to help guide or to help decide things like that. But the point is, these 5 people, ex-lovers, ex-assistants, that kind of thing, they actually get to know her on a deeper level from both, like, they get to go through her house now, because they need to find clues. Like, let's say the first one to escape the house gets the empire, is the illusion, is the lie, right? The thing that gets them to want to do it. Like, what? I get all of this if I could just get out of here first? Fine, I'll do it. And actually, there's a reality competition show called, this just came to mind, and now Got to Get Out. Yeah, I've seen this. I've seen this show. Got to Get Out. I love escape room type shows. Um, Got to Get Out. I think it's on Hulu, maybe Amazon Prime. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember. But the point is, they have to escape, and the first one to escape gets the money. Uh, and so the point of this is like, so an ex-lover, for example, would be like, well, I used to live here for that many years, and she never let me go to this part of the mansion or the house, or this room. So now that she's not around, I want to see what it's about. And so instead of trying to escape, now these people have their own reasons to either, like, one of them is trying to escape, right? Let's say, or one or two of them would be trying to escape really seriously to get the fortune, but some of them would not be so into, like, sure, they would take the empire, but like they have other personal reasons why they want to take their time. And in the process of doing these things, maybe they end up hanging out. Not maybe. They end up hanging out, spending some time together, and through like stories they tell about her, and like, oh, she used to do this. I'm like, really? That's not at all who I knew. She was more like this. They figure they start to hear and learn about her. Like after her death, they learn new things about her that they never knew about. She might have been sweet to some people and not so sweet to others for their own reasons, and have a romantic side with some and not others, and maybe like you do they get to know different sides of her and fun sides and fun stories about her, and it's almost like in her death they learn more about her than they ever knew alive. um because an assistant would know different things than a lover. You hold up certain walls and certain things up to different people, but if you put all of the pieces together that they know individually, you'd get a really good picture of who a person was, the closest version of them, full version of them, the closest to a full version of them is what I meant to say. So yeah, and in the process of doing all this, what we find out as an audience, like who truly loved her, despite the ways that they depicted themselves or behaved or handled things at the beginning of the movie when they found out, whether they were sad or glad or whatever. By the end of the movie, they might have learned something from her, or one of them may not have changed at all. One of them might have actually fallen more in love with her. And so for us, the audience is really learning through their stories, through the interactions, like who truly loved her, and did she know that before she died, and who truly only wanted to be with her or to be around her for her money or for her fame, things like that, for her accolades, status, because she was super famous, a fashion icon. And who really truly deserves out of all those people to get her empire, and why? And was that just decided from the beginning anyway, and she just wanted to put this together for one last game that she would like to have going on? Is this like her way of celebrating her own life type of thing? Like, yeah, it would be like a cute story about, like, it would be comedic, obviously, a lot of physical comedy and quips and wit and insult comedy as well. All those like things that I like. Um, but also a lot of heart and a lot of like a lot of the times when someone dies, you hear different stories that you wouldn't have heard before when you gather together with the person's friends and family, and you get a different picture. You get a bit more of a picture of the full, because people only really know the versions that they show you or that you get to witness with them. And I think a lot of the times sometimes when someone dies, we're surprised to see, like, oh, I didn't know this. I would have never found out. Like, this was not the person they were with me. This is not a part of their lives that I knew anything about. And so really get to know a lot about these through this, like, run around the house trying to escape. Some of them actually wanted to enjoy themselves, and maybe one of them that like is hungry right away, so he just goes to the fridge and like, yeah, I'll escape after I'm done eating type of thing. Or like, I wonder what she ate or what would be here. Um, assuming like we have a good reason for why somebody wouldn't go like, yeah, she died like days ago. I'm sure they've cleaned out her fridge by now. Maybe not. For the movie's sake, they wouldn't have. But anyway, so yeah, that's the story. Just getting to know all these different characters, but mainly our deceased character, um, and this little fun last celebration that she created for herself. I thought that was a fun idea. I'll just read. I wasn't taking notes. I was just mumbling. So I'll figure this out later, and then come up with. I'll re-listen to it and come up with a long line. Now our second one. Another idea that's been done at the 100,000 million times, but that I also I enjoy the idea of, and I would want to play with it myself. It's a grief processing, grief story. So my idea was like a road trip movie, and so this father and this daughter and his daughter go on a road trip, and she's going to college, and so for him this road trip is like him processing the feelings that parents get when you're now going to be separated after 18 years in the same house. No matter how many fights, no matter how many hard times, how many good times, there's a point where you have to let them go. And I think college is a lot of that for some parents. It brings up a lot of those feelings. So this is his like, no, you're not taking the train or you're not getting dropped off. I'll drop you off. I'll do my last duty as your father to drop you off to college. And so they load up their car and they go on this road trip to drop her off at college, at her dorm. And along the way, we find out what the story is. Like maybe they pick a fight with each, they argue, or maybe they have some good times. And there's always like a great sing along scene or like the driver or the passenger singing in the car. I do love those little moments. They're so lovely in movies. But the point is that they go through a lot of experiences, and so it's a 3-day road trip. So of course they stop by places and eat or sleep. So I need more paper. So yeah, we basically watch these characters trigger each other and having this whole father-daughter experience. But and this will ruin the movie. But it won't be in the log line, but it will be here in the explaining of the story. Because the grief part, it's kind of like a I don't remember Little Miss Sunshine that well. I know there was a van and a road trip, but it was a whole family, 2 people. It was more like a Sixth Sense type of thing, where at the end, when he gets at the end of the trip, when he gets to the dorm, he gets out of the car and you're just, maybe he doesn't, I don't know, but he just stops and looks at the dorm. That's it, and watches other kids her age walk by, or other kids getting dropped off and their stuff moving, and he's just frozen in the seat watching all of this, and then just leaves because the point of the film is grief, and so it's revealed that she's been dead. She died. She never made it to, she died a few days or a week or so. Exact details to be figured out when the script gets written, but yeah. So she died. They were supposed to. He was supposed to drop her off at college, but she didn't make it, and so he still decides, as for his own sake and his healing journey, he decides to go on the road trip. and everything that we see on the way is grief talking to him. It's the pain, it's the wishful thinking, it's the what he could have had and all that kind of stuff, but it's just her ghost. It's his I don't want to say hallucination, but definitely his like his heart, I guess, wanting what he can't have and still wanting to live it out, and so it happening in his head type of thing. And yeah, so it's a story about the grief of a father who has to let go of his daughter, and um, yeah, and this road trip would be like a healing thing for him. But and then of course we a lot of the story comes out during the journey uh, of the road trip, figuring out how she died and things like that. Little hints of everything until the very end, where some good way of revealing or explaining what happened, if it's even necessary. I don't think it's always necessary to have all the answers. Yeah, no, this isn't really about the answers. It's about watching him go through this and the pain and the release and the healing. That's really what this drama would be about. Yeah, makes sense type of thing. So, a log line for a movie like this, would we need like an obstacle? The obstacle is just the process, the grief, it's not reality, but log line. Log line would be just sorry. Now I'm thinking too much out loud, and um I think that's it. Yeah, that was the story of the my idea for exploring the grief and the letting go in this way, in this road trip type of movie. Um, and where they stop along the way and how the story develops is to be figured out later. But it's really just about watching these two people's bond. Um, hi, sorry, my cat. Uh, one last time, I suppose, for him. All right, so I will put this together. Thank you for listening. I think I have everything I need. And that's it for us. Thank you for listening. I'll be right back with the log lines.
The Inheritance of Ava. Comedy Drama. After the death of Ava, a legendary queer fashion icon, 5 former lovers, assistants, and muses are invited to her estate to compete in a series of games and uncover who truly loved her, who only loved her fame, and who deserves to inherit her entire empire. Would you watch or pass? Put it in the comments. Route 222. Drama. A 3-day road trip to drop off his daughter to college, full of laughter and fights, teaches a hardened father to listen, understand, forgive, let go, and deeply heal. Would you watch or pass? Put it in the comments.